We're live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Singapore's Prime Minister Lawrence Wong pays tribute at Rajghat, a three-day India visit to further explore ways to expand bilateral ties. Rescuers battle to reach survivors in quake-hit Afghanistan as death toll reaches 1,400. Humanitarian aid pours in. India continues to extend support. Multiple attacks in Pakistan leaves at least 25 dead, including 11 at political rally. Investigation underway. US military sends a clear message to Maduro and Venezuela against drug cartel. Kills 11 people in a strike since recent deployment of warships to the southern Caribbean. And in the US Open, 24-time Grand Slam champion Novak Djokovic sets up a blockbuster semi-final clash against world number 2 Carlos Alcaraz. India's Yuki Bhamuri and his Kiwi partner Michael Wynn storm into the quarter-finals. And on to the details now. Aimed at enhancing India's semiconductor ecosystem, Prime Minister Narendra Modi attended the second day of Semicon India 2025 conference in New Delhi today. While visiting the Semicon exhibition, Prime Minister Modi spoke to the various participants and also examined a nano chip at the exhibition. The Prime Minister inaugurated the 4th edition of Semicon India on Tuesday, the three-day conference witnessing participants from over 48 countries, over 150 speakers, including over 50 global leaders and more than 350 exhibitors. The initiative focuses on advancing a robust, resilient and sustainable semiconductor ecosystem in India. It features sessions on the progress of the Semicon India program, semiconductor fab and advanced packaging projects, infrastructure readiness, smart manufacturing, innovations in R&D and artificial intelligence, investment opportunities, state-level policy implementation, among others. And Singapore's Prime Minister Lawrence Wong has arrived in New Delhi on a three-day visit to India. This is Prime Minister Wong's first visit to India in his capacity as Singapore's Prime Minister. He will hold talks with Prime Minister Modi on Thursday. The two leaders will review the robust and multifaceted cooperation between India and Singapore and set the path for future collaboration. They will also engage on regional and international issues. The Singaporean leader will call on President Draupadi Murmu also. Well, Singapore is an important partner for India, including New Delhi's Act East policy. During the visit of Prime Minister Modi to Singapore in September 2024, the bilateral ties were elevated to a comprehensive strategic partnership. The visit coincides with the 60th anniversary of India-Singapore diplomatic relations. Close ties between India and Singapore have a history rooted in strong commercial, cultural and people-to-people links across the millennium. Singapore is India's largest trading partner in ASEAN and it is the leading source of FDI with flows of $14.94 billion US. In fact, about 9,000 Indian companies are registered in Singapore. People of Indian origin constitute 9% of 4.04 million resident population of Singapore, and Singapore also hosts 1.64 million foreigners, including Indian citizens. And today, the visiting Prime Minister Wong visited Rajghat, the memorial place of Father of the Nation Mahatma Gandhi, to pay floral tributes to him. Also, Indian Finance and Corporate Affairs Minister Nirmala Sitharaman met Singaporean Prime Minister Lawrence Wong in New Delhi on Tuesday. Minister Sitharaman welcomed Singaporean Prime Minister on his first official visit to India as the Prime Minister. In a post on X on Tuesday, the Ministry of Finance stated that the discussion centered on enhancing cooperation in critical areas, including trade and investment, fintech, skill development, sustainability, healthcare and connectivity. Both sides also expressed a firm commitment to deepen collaboration, marking a pivotal moment as India and Singapore celebrate 60 years of diplomatic relations. Well, the Singaporean Prime Minister also took to social media platform X and highlighted the meeting with the Union Finance Minister. He also stated that discussions took place on the outcomes of the recently concluded third round of the India-Singapore Ministerial Roundtable held last month. And German Federal Minister for Foreign Affairs John David Wadephul arrived in New Delhi following his engagement in Bengaluru as part of his two-day official visit to the country. During his stay in New Delhi, the German Foreign Minister will hold a meeting with his Indian counterpart, Dr. S. Jaishankar. The visiting leader will also meet Union Minister of Commerce and Industry, Piyush Goyal. Well, India's Ministry of External Affairs in a social media post stated that German foreign ministers' engagements in Bengaluru and Delhi will further strengthen the multifaceted India-Germany strategic partnership as the two nations mark 25 years of its completion. And the Prime Minister of Bhutan, Shering Tobgay, along with J. Khenpo, Trulku Jigme Chiodra, the Chief Abbot of Bhutan, will be on an official visit to India for the consecration ceremony of the Royal Bhutan Temple at Rajgir in Bihar on 4th of September. Following the consecration ceremony, Prime Minister of Bhutan will also visit the Sri Ram Temple in Ayodhya. The consecration of the Royal Bhutan Temple at Rajgir is a symbol of the shared spiritual and cultural heritage of Buddhism between India and Bhutan. The land for the temple has been provided by the government of Bihar. The visit of J. Khenpo and the Prime Minister of Bhutan is in keeping with the tradition of regular high-level exchanges between the two countries, a hallmark of the special partnership. And Union Home Minister Amit Shah met and felicitated the soldiers of Central Reserve Police Force, Chhattisgarh Police, DRG and Cobra Battalion who successfully carried out Operation Black Forest on Karegutalu Hill. Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Vishnudeo Sai and Deputy Chief Minister Vijay Sharma were also present. This operation, codenamed Operation Black Forest, was aimed at dismantling India's Naxal and Maoist networks. In fact, in a determined effort to eliminate Naxalism by March 26, 2026, Operation Black Forest marked the longest continuous anti-Naxal campaign executed jointly by the CRPF Chhattisgarh Police over a span of 21 days at the Chhattisgarh-Telangana border. And Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman chaired the GST Council meeting to discuss the revisions of tax slabs. The meeting comes as the centre nears the deadline for implementing the next generation reforms under the goods and services tax regime by early October. The Finance Minister Sitharaman-led GST Council meeting comprises of representatives from all states and union territories in order to discuss the reduction of taxes on common use items as well as public welfare services. Also, the GST Council meet comes over 2 weeks after Prime Minister Narendra Modi, during his Independence Day address from the Red Fort, announced the next big phase of reforms in GST regime by Diwali this year as a gift for the common man. Well, the 14th edition of the India-Thailand Joint Military Exercise, MET 14, commenced with a grand opening ceremony at Joint Training Node in Meghalaya. The ongoing bilateral exercise is part of the military-to-military exchange program between the two countries and aims to enhance cooperation, interoperability and mutual understanding between the Indian Army and Royal Thai Army. Well, the 13th edition of the exercise was held in Thailand. The joint exercise will focus on company-level counter-terrorist operations in semi-urban terrain under Chapter 7 of the United Nations Charter. The two-week program includes tactical drills, joint planning, special arms skills, physical fitness and raiding operations. Also, the exercise will culminate with a 48-hour validation exercise simulating realistic operational scenarios also. And soldiers from the 11th Airborne Division of United States and Indian Armies officially opened exercise Youth Abhyas 2025 during a ceremony at Fort Wainwright in Alaska on Tuesday. Troops from the Madras Regiment will train with the 1st Battalion, 5th Infantry Regiment, Bobcats of the Arctic Wolves Brigade Combat Team, 11th Airborne Division during the fortnight-long exercise. Well, the troops will also train in heliborne operation, mountain warfare, unmanned aerial systems, counter unmanned aerial systems and joint tactical drills, boosting United Nations peacekeeping operations and multi-domain readiness. And some weather updates from parts of India now. Moderate to intense rainfall is likely over Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh and Odisha, with light to moderate showers expected over yellow alert areas during the night time. While among the northern Indian states, the hilly regions of Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand are likely to receive moderate showers, with isolated areas facing severe rainfall. Well, the next 24 hours remain critical as the IMD has issued a flood alert, warning of moderate to high risk of flash floods across parts of Uttarakhand, Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh and Himachal Pradesh. According to the latest report from the Indian Meteorological Department, stations across Jammu and Kashmir are recording heavy to very heavy rainfall. Riyasa district alone has received 168.5 mm so far. In fact, also, Delhi and surrounding regions will remain cloudy with light to moderate rain expected. Residents in flood-prone zones are advised to stay alert. The monsoon remains active and IMD has issued warnings for several regions to prepare for possible disruptions. Meanwhile, Northern Railways has cancelled 68 trains to and from Jammu and Kashmir, Jammu and Katra till September 30th, with 24 services set to resume. Rail traffic remains suspended for over a week due to severe track damage in the Pathankot-Jammu section following intense rains and flash floods. The Jammu region recorded 380 mm of rainfall, its highest since the year 1910, leaving scores stranded, including pilgrims. Further, a landslide near the Mata Vaishno Devi shrine claimed 34 lives, highlighting the scale of disruption across rail and road networks. Well, the situation in Himachal Pradesh has become extremely serious due to heavy rains, floods and landslides. A red alert has been issued for the next 16 to 18 hours in 4 districts, Chamba, Kullu, Kangra and Mandi, warning of heavy to very heavy rainfall. Meanwhile, an orange alert is in place for 6 districts, including the capital Shimla, due to expected heavy rainfall. Also, Manali has been hit by floods. The bridge connecting Old Manali to the main town has been completely submerged in the Beas River. A tempo traveller was also swept away in the raging waters. Fortunately, no lives were lost in the incident. All schools, colleges and Anganwadi centres across almost the entire state will remain closed for the 3rd consecutive day. Also, Punjab has been officially declared a disaster-affected state by the government as heavy rainfall continues for the 3rd consecutive day, significantly worsening the flood conditions across the region. The situation remains critical and the Indian Meteorological Department has issued weather warnings for 8 districts, keeping the state on high alert. Rescue operations have managed to save 19,597 people so far. However, the damage to agriculture has been severe, with crops destroyed over an estimated 1,48,590 hectares of land. Authorities continue to monitor the situation closely, urging citizens to stay indoors and follow safety advisories. And still to come in this edition of DT India Live. Trump dismisses rumors about his ill health, says he was busy over the Labor Day weekend. OpenAI plans parental controls. And Salvadorans celebrate 103 years of fireball battles, illuminating the night skies. Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Lipakshi Kurana. Moving on, United States in its fight against drug cartels carried out military strikes off Venezuela coast on Tuesday. U.S. President Donald Trump in a press meet has confirmed that U.S. forces had attacked a boat carrying drugs to the United States. He further said the U.S. military killed 11 people in the strike on a vessel allegedly carrying drugs in the southern Caribbean. Trump also posted a video online of an open-topped speedboat carrying a number of people traveling on a body of water before it exploded in a ball of flames.
We just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a boat, a drug-carrying boat, a lot of drugs in that boat. We have a lot of drugs pouring into our country, coming in for a long time. And we just, these came out of Venezuela and coming out very heavily from Venezuela. A lot of things are coming out of Venezuela, so we took it out.
Well, a federal appeals court ruled that U.S. President Donald Trump unlawfully invoked the Alien Enemies Act to deport Venezuelans he alleged were part of a criminal gang. In a 2-1 decision, a 3-judge panel of the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals issued a preliminary injunction that blocked the Trump administration from removing a group of Venezuelans under the seldom-used 18th century law. Well, the act gives the government expansive powers to detain and deport citizens of hostile foreign nations, but only in times of war or during an invasion or predatory incursion. And as Trump threatened to send troops to more U.S. cities, a federal judge blocked U.S. President Donald Trump's administration from using the military to fight crime in California. San Francisco-based U.S. District Judge Charles Breyer found that the Trump administration willfully violated a law known as the Posse Comitatus Act, which sharply limits the use of the military for domestic enforcement by employing troops to control crowds and bolster federal agents during immigration and drug raids. The administration deployed 4,000 National Guard members and 700 active-duty U.S. Marines to Los Angeles in June. Tuesday's ruling dealt a setback to Trump's push to broaden the role of the military on U.S. soil, which critics say is a dangerous expansion of executive authority that could spark tensions between troops and ordinary citizens. And President Donald Trump dismissed reports on social media that he's in ill health, saying he was busy over the Labor Day weekend, giving media interviews and visiting his Virginia golf course. Speculation about his health swirled on the social media platform, with posts citing Trump's lack of a public schedule over the weekend and an interview with Vice President J.D. Vance published on Thursday. On July 17th, White House spokeswoman Karoline Leavitt said Trump was experiencing swelling in his lower legs and bruising on his right hand after photos showed him with swollen ankles and makeup covering part of his hand. Since then, the White House has played down concerns about Trump's health, saying he's taking the leg issue in stride without detailing how it is being treated. And moving on, in Pakistan, over 20 people were killed in 3 attacks on Tuesday, including 14 who died after a suicide bomber targeted a political rally in the southwestern province of Balochistan. Dozens of people were wounded in that explosion, which took place in the parking lot of a stadium in the provincial capital, Quetta, where hundreds of members of the Balochistan National Party had gathered. Well, the government officials said the rally was held to commemorate the anniversary of the death of Sardar Ataullah Mengal, a nationalist leader and former provincial chief minister. The officials said that Mengal's son, Sardar Akhtar Mengal, who was in attendance, is safe, adding that another 30 people were injured. Well, another attack in Balochistan near the border with Iran claimed 5 lives on Tuesday, while 6 soldiers were killed after a suicide attack on the base in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. The regional police chief said that the suicide bomber rammed his explosive-laden car into the boundary wall of the base in the town of Bannu earlier on Tuesday, causing an explosion that allowed other attackers to enter the compound. Also, a police statement blamed the attack on Islamist militants without naming any group. And the death toll scored past 1,400 people, with thousands more injured in the strong earthquake that hit Afghanistan as rescuers battled to reach survivors trapped in remote areas. Aid agencies had made their way on foot in some places and helicopters were being used to airlift the injured. The 6.0 magnitude trembler struck a remote mountainous area in eastern Afghanistan along the Pakistan border on Sunday, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. Well, its epicenter was 17 miles from the eastern city of Jalalabad at a shallow depth of 5 miles, at which even relatively moderate earthquakes can cause widespread damage. Afghanistan is especially vulnerable to earthquakes as it sits on top of several fault lines where the Indian and Eurasian plates meet. Well, in response to the devastating earthquake in Afghanistan, India continues to extend its support. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Shankar shared some photographs on social media platform X as India sent 21 tons of humanitarian assistance to the quake-hit country. The consignment included a wide range of relief materials, including basic necessities. The minister added that India would continue to monitor the situation and provide more assistance in the coming days. India had previously extended humanitarian aid to Afghanistan on Monday, including relief materials. Also, while on Monday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also extended his grief over the loss of lives in the natural calamity and said that India stands ready to provide all possible humanitarian aid to those affected by the quake in Afghanistan. And on Tuesday, the Sikh community dispatched relief material for the earthquake victims from Gurudwara Guru Nanak Darbar in Afghanistan's Jalalabad. Donated by the Gurudwara Committee, the relief material has been sent to Kunar, the worst-hit province where over 1,000 people died. And on to some business news now. ChatGPT's parent company OpenAI said that it plans to launch parental controls for its popular AI assistant within the next month. The move comes after a week after an American couple said the system encouraged their teenage son to kill himself. In the new feature, parents will also receive notifications from ChatGPT when the system detects their teen is in a moment of acute distress. The company said it had further plans to improve the safety of its chatbots over the coming 3 months, including redirecting some sensitive conversations to a reasoning model that puts more computing power into generating a response. And in sports news, updates from the US Open 2025, second seed Carlos Alcaraz cruised into the US Open semi-finals, thrashing Czech Jiří Lehecka in straight sets. 5-time Grand Slam winner Alcaraz has not dropped a set at Flushing Meadows in this edition. Alcaraz will face 24-time Grand Slam winner Novak Djokovic. Well, Novak Djokovic showcased his dominance over fourth seed Taylor Fritz in a hard-fought 4-set victory. Djokovic arrived at Arthur Ashe Stadium, having beaten Fritz in all 10 of the previous meetings. The Serb had to battle hard to move past last year's runner-up and stay on track for a record 25th major title. Well, reigning women's US Open champion Aryna Sabalenka advanced to the semi-finals after Marketa Vondrousova pulled out of the last 8 clash with a knee injury. World number 1 Sabalenka will play fourth-seeded American Jessica Pegula in the semi-finals. America's Jessica Pegula reached her second straight US Open semi-final with a clinical win over Grand Slam champion Barbora Krejcikova. And India's Yuki Bhambri and New Zealand's Michael Venus have advanced to the quarterfinals of the men's doubles at the US Open. Venus and Yuki Bhambri defeated the German duo of Kevin Kravets and Tim Poets to secure a spot as one of the last 8 teams in the draw. The Indian-New Zealand duo has progressed to the quarterfinals of a Grand Slam for the first time. In the quarterfinals, Venus and Bhambri will go up against the Nikola Mektic from Croatia and Rajiv Ram from the United States. In women doubles, Venus Williams bowed out of the tournament after she and her partner, Leila Fernandez, were outclassed by top seeds Taylor Townsend and Katerina Siniakova in the quarter-finals. Townsend and Siniakova needed just 22 minutes to sweep the opening set and quickly built up an unassailable lead in the second. The victory sent the top seeds into the semi-finals, where they will meet fourth seed Veronika Kudermetova and Alice Mertens. Well, the traditional Battle of the Fireballs lights up the night sky in Ijapa, El Salvador for its 103rd edition. Thousands of people, including locals and visitors, gather to witness one of the country's most vibrant and unique traditions, throwing gasoline-soaked, burning rat balls. Take a look. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Prana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.